Alright folks, as y'all can see, I've been working on the lever. I think I've got it where it's, kind of formed to the lawnmower pretty good. And back around over here, what we'll do is, so that lever will sit somewhere about right in there. And then I'll build a handle that goes on there with, maybe with a rubber grip. Uh, I may heat that up and flare it out a little bit where it's a little easier to grab. But anyway, I think it's turned out pretty good. What do y'all think? Let me know something. So what we got going on here is that little piece will be either welded or bolted to the shaft. Okay? And then we've got about a 4 inch, 4.5 inch plate that'll be welded onto that. Okay? So that whenever that moves, every bit of this moves. Now these other two don't. Okay? These other two swivel. And the handle, the lever, is welded onto them too. So a hole that will swivel on there. But in order to be able to lock it together, what we could do is we could simply either weld those two plates together, tack weld them, or we could put a couple of bolts. I like the idea of putting a couple of bolts. Then for any reason, if I want to position the lever wherever, I could just take out the bolts, move it around where I want the lever to be, and then just drill and, re-drill and bolt it on there. Okay, so I like that. The other option is a little bit more complicated. You could just drill a series of holes in both of these, and then you could just put it wherever you want, and then you'd have your lever and everything, coordinated together the way you want it. Or you could make some type of a spring-loaded latch that'll jump in and out of a series of holes or notches, and you can make that lever where it's easily adjustable to be in whatever position is comfortable for you. So I believe that turned out pretty good. So without having to get off the lawnmower, I can reach, all the way back there if I need a lot of movement. Yeah, I think that's going to work real good. What do y'all think? Let me know something. All right, folks, I think y'all probably figured out what we got going on here. So that gear will be welded onto this or bolted. This gear will be bolted onto the lever. And of course, this gear and this lever here rotate on the same shaft, but they just rotate. So it's just serving as a guide. And there will be a thing up there that you'll be able to squeeze on the end of the lever, and it'll pull on a cable. And then there'll be a little latch here that'll come up out of these two slots. And when it does, it makes this handle where it's disengaged. Okay, so I'll be able to, say, lower the lift, which means the handle will be sticking straight up in the air all the time. Well, I don't want that. So what this will enable me to do is when I squeeze that lever and I disengage this lever, then I can go ahead and set the handle back down, okay? And if I want to put downward force on this, say there's something I'm dragging like a rake and I need a little bit more force and I want to manually do that, well, I just, when this drops back down in the pin and I lift up on the lever now, it's forcing this down, this lift, forcing it down against the dirt, okay? And then say if I'm just riding along dragging a rake and I don't, or a blade or whatever, and I don't want that lever sticking up in there all the time, well, I just disengage the latch and then lower the handle back down and then just let it drop down in that last set of holes down there, and then the lever's down there out of the way. So it's a little bit complicated, but I think it's going to make it a lot better. What do y'all think? Let me know something. All right. So, just so y'all know, any of you guys that are starting out, the best way to get your metal is to buy it at a scrapyard. If you can get or locate a scrapyard that will sell you metal. A lot of them won't, some of them will. And right now I'm paying 28 cents a pound for scrap metal. That is cheap. You think about it. You get a 100-pound piece of plate steel, you pay $28 for it. That same piece of plate steel might run you $150, $200. Well, depending on how thick it is. So I get these at the scrapyard, and I can get them way bigger than this, but I keep a few around. But I get a lot of the smaller stuff, and I'll get a half-inch and eighth-inch, a variety of gauges. But anyway, the other thing that I do is I find all these pieces laying around, and I probably didn't give hardly anything for this. I mean, 28 cents, maybe it weighs a pound. And I get large circles, small circles, and I go ahead and I get these because it saves me a lot of trouble if I need a circle, for building something. And I buy various types of rings, cutoffs that are laying around, because the time and trouble it would take me to do that, and I ain't even got a piece of pipe that big, but if I did, to cut that out, it'd be a lot of work. And they're evidently, they're using a plasma cutter, and so a lot of the stuff is like very accurate. And I get all types of unique things that I think maybe I can use to build something one day. These obviously are 2 pieces of I-beam. And I get a lot of stuff like that. It's already got the holes in it. If I'm building something, I can just cut it however I need it. So anyway, just thought I'd let y'all know that. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted y'all to know. So what we're doing is we're building a lever, and I'm using ideals of what they used to do years ago. This is a lever off of something old, maybe an old cultivator or some kind of an old combine, or a piece of farming implement. So the way this would operate is you would squeeze the lever. It's bent, but you would squeeze the lever, and then that little rod would pull up on that. There would have been a spring here, and then I believe there was probably a piece of a plate that set right in there. That was similar to what we've got built over there. And so, you know, it would have a series of notches like this. And then, so you would squeeze that lever and then you would rotate it. And then whatever, you know, slot you chose, this would drop back down and then that would be locked in. And then there was probably a rod that went back, you know, it could have went back to the brakes on a wagon. Don't really know. And, you know, it's really neat the way they did that. You know, they've got a split here and another split that runs right through there. So, you know, they had a way to take a round piece of rod and then grind it flat. And then that would go up on there and then they would tighten those and that would lock it onto the unit. You know, really neat. And the way they got the handle on here, you know, they got a groove made there, put a bolt in it. That does that. You know, these are actually braided on. So we're building something similar to this. Okay. And I don't know why, you know, I probably wasted my money buying something like this, but I just thought it was neat. And, you know, I even actually had thought about using it, but I think we just build something. I think what we got going on is going to work really good. And we're not going to use a steel rod. We're going to use a cable. I'll show you all that here in just a second. So I got this old bike laying around and out there on Junk Row, and I'm thinking, you know, these are a little bit complicated. I would like to have had just some regular old, you know, some older ones, but I think, you know, maybe we can get a lever and, you know, get one cable that'll work. But I was thinking, you know, something like that up there on the lever. So, I don't know. May have to look around some more and see what I got. Alright, folks. So, I went ahead and I added a third one. And that way, it'll double up these teeth so that they'll be able to, you know, to hold a lot more of a load. And the other thing is the plate on this side, and I didn't realize it when I was doing it earlier, doesn't need but one notch because it's never going to move other than moving with the lever. And the other little thing is I'm starting to get where I'm getting in a rush because I'm fixing to have to call it a day, and I wanted to demo this for the video though. And I'm having a little bit of a trouble visualizing what I'm building the area, so I'm going to go ahead and tack weld everything again, knowing that I'll have to take these tack welds loose. But I'm going to do is just as few as possible. I believe I'll need one there. Let's see, one there, one there. Probably could just do one of these for now. Didn't have to do both of them, I don't think. Then I'll have to tack these two plates together. And then I've got to tack it to the rod. I think that's it. So that's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And you know, none of this will be welded yet. But it's not going to go anywhere. So anyway, let's get it tack welded together. right, folks. I think we're going to have to call it for today. But we've made some really, really good progress here. And we've got to build a little latch that'll go in there. And let's see, we still got to put in the 2 stops so that this threaded rod doesn't bump against there. And it, the whole unit, when it gets over gravity, over its center of gravity, it doesn't need to be this much back, about right in there. And so that's what we're going to do is, when we build these, it'll stop it from going so far back. It's really overlocked, is what I'm saying. And let's see. We get a lot of movement. I think I could live with that about right there. And may have to build some type of a stop so that this won't swing all the way back. But I think it's going to work really good. What do y'all think? And anyway, so I did add one of these in the middle here. It's not welded yet, but I've got to drill it. I'm going to put a grease zert, and that'll make this work a lot better with it being greased, and it's just not going to wear out. That's the thinnest metal we got in the whole thing is right there. And I put another one over there, so it could be welded on with a grease zert right there. Same thing on that one. And pretty heavy duty. Anyway, hey, I appreciate everybody, tuning in. And let me know something. Leave a comment, and I'll respond back. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.